We have you here to talk about everything today.
Okay.
Virtually everything. Let's start.
We can start with Postmarket.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's start with Postmarket.
Postmarket is an aspect of a business that sometimes gets overlooked because as a design organization, you want to get to market, right? So you want to go from concept to market. Now the device is in use. Doesn't mean that you stop working on it. There may be bugs. There may be, issues with the device that you may need to fix. So you have to have a sales team. You have to have a technical sales force, right? That needs to be out there helping the clinicians, the doctors, the patients themselves to say, hey, here's how you improve the performance of your device, the functionality of your device. You want to get feedback from those same people, the doctors, the surgeons. How can we improve, right? If it's a implantable device, the surgeon may have some insight into how they can better do the surgery. How can they make it easier on the patient, the post-op, right? The recovery. And you want to talk to the patients themselves. How easy is it for you to control your thing from your mobile device? How can we make it better? And part of that is what's known as vigilance and complaint tracking, right? Everything from, I don't like the color of the thing, I don't like the font size of the thing, to, hey, when I do this specific activity that you said that this device is supposed to do, I'm not getting the results that I expect, okay? Are you unique in the population, or is that a broader thing, right? So that looped back into the design side, right? There's a lot of times where the product that you've marketed for a very specific indication gets used for other indications, and that's referred to as off-label, right? There's a huge market for that. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. We have to be very careful. We can't promote that. We can't legally say, oh, that's okay, you can use that, But the surgeons, the doctors, the nurses, on a one-on-one basis could recommend, give it a try sort of thing, right? We have to be aware of that, to say, was that used? Was that a foreseeable off-label use? Was that used or did the market just discover a indication that we missed? Is that legitimate? Let's go back to the design side and say, hey, can we possibly submit this to the FDA or whoever for an additional indication, right? So those are the things that you have to be aware of. That's post-market, right? Just because you got the device to market doesn't mean you're done. You have to keep track of it all the way to the grave. Every product has a cycle as an end of life, right? You may say, oh, end of life is not because the device stopped working, we have a new version coming out, so that's the end of life, right? So you kind of project that to your post-market team to say, by the way, 5 years from now, let people know that their system, their device has going to have a potential upgrade that we're going to provide. But the other side of that is if it's a hardened device, an implanted device, that device has a fixed life. It may be in the body for 10 years and then it stops, right? What do? Do you explant it? Do you leave it in for the rest of the life? What happens if the patient naturally end of life, right? They die. They have this device in them. Are they going to be buried with it? Are they going to get cremated with it? So we basically call it concept of grave, right? As in, those devices need to get returned and we need to dispose of them properly. Or recycle them, to reuse them in our, on our side, right? Being an engineer, you can do a lot of things. But why medical device? It's because the work that you do day to day, as hard as it can be, as difficult as it can be, because you're doing cutting edge, you're doing bleeding edge, stuff that nobody's ever done. There's a uniqueness where you're sort of diving deep to go, okay, I'm trying to make something here, but what am I really doing? You're helping somebody directly, and it could be something that could help save somebody's life. It could be somebody you know. It could be somebody in your family. So that's the passion at the end of the day. That's the heart. That's the reason I got into medical device industry as a whole. Yes, at Valentium, there's a reason why we are who we are. Is everybody has that same shared passion to say, okay, we made the best, safest product that's going to help somebody.